Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
So it's this English learning podcast called Daily Money Briefing.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. You get the
Yeah.
financial news and kind of a language lesson all in one.
Oh, I like that. Sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly. If you want the key economic stories without the fluff, you're in the right place.
Yeah, we cut through the noise.
Today we're diving into three pretty important economic developments.
We'll be looking at potential changes in U.S. auto tariffs, some stress in the Korean construction world, and what's happening with online businesses.
Right. Our mission, as always, is to pull out the crucial insights, connect the dots for you, and hopefully save you some time.
Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, U.S. auto tariffs. Sounds like there might be some movement, possibly good news for Korean companies.
That's the talk, yeah. It's centered on those potential 25% tariffs on imported cars and parts that were being floated. Now, there's a chance they might be rolled back.
Okay, a rollback. So if that actually happens, who benefits most in Korea?
The immediate thought is the Korean auto parts makers. Fewer tariffs could mean, they become more competitive in the U.S. market.
More competitive against who, mainly?
Well, potentially against imports from other places, maybe giving them an edge they didn't have.
Got it. Are we talking specific changes, like what exactly might be canceled or adjusted?
The big one is potentially scrapping that 25% tariff on fully built foreign cars. Plus, there's discussion about tweaking duties on materials, thinks steel, aluminum, so you don't get tariffs piling up on tariffs.
Right, the cascading effect.
Exactly. And even that planned 25% tariff on imported parts, supposedly kicking in around May 3rd, that might be reconsidered too.
So why the potential shift now? What's prompting this in the U.S.?
It seems like there's growing unease. U.S. automakers, investors, they might be worried about the downsides.
Like higher costs for them, maybe supply chain headaches.
Precisely. The potential blowback might be starting to look worse than any intended benefit.
So for you listening, it's a good reminder, isn't it? Global trade policy isn't set in stone. Things shift, and that creates ripples, opportunities, challenges. Let's pivot to a domestic issue in Korea. The construction sector. Sounds like there's some serious financial strain there.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. We're seeing a huge amount of unpaid work piling up. The top 20 construction firms alone are reportedly owed over 15 trillion won.
15 trillion won. What's that in U.S. dollars, roughly?
Around $11 billion USD. It's a massive figure.
Wow. Is this a new problem or just getting worse?
It surged recently. That number jumped by 4 trillion won in just the last 2 years.
A 4 trillion won increase in 2 years. That really points to a slowdown, doesn't it?
It does. It signals things are tightening up considerably in that sector.
So what's the root cause? Why aren't they getting paid?
The main issue seems to be unsold properties. Lots of apartments, commercial buildings, especially outside the big cities. They just aren't moving.
So developers can't sell the projects and therefore they can't pay the builders.
That's the core of it, yeah. We saw a stat, too, in 2023. These unpaid bills made up about 11.4% of total sales for these big firms.
Up from the year before.
Up from 10.8% in 2022. So the trend isn't great.
And what happens then? Are these construction companies just writing it off?
No, often they're forced into legal action, trying to recover the money, which is costly and time-consuming itself.
It really shows how problems in one area, like real estate, can spill over, right? Affecting major industries like construction.
Definitely interconnected.
Okay, third story. Let's talk about online retail in Korea. Launching an e-store sounds easy, but maybe the reality is different.
Oh, it's incredibly tough. They shut down within the first year.
3 out of 10. Seriously, that's quite a failure rate.
Yeah, the specific one-year survival rate is only about 69.8%.
And how does that compare to other types of businesses?
It's actually the lowest survival rate among 20 major consumer business categories they tracked. Online retail is brutal.
And does it get easier after the first year? What about the long term?
Still challenging. Only about 45.7% make it to 3 years. And just over a third, like 33.6%, are still around after 5 years.
So why is it so difficult? What are the main pressures?
Well, there are a few things. It's easy to start an online store, so the barrier to entry is low.
Right.
That means tons of competition. Many might jump in without enough planning or, capital. But a huge factor right now is the flood of ultra-cheap goods.
From China.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Platforms like AliExpress, Temu, they're making it incredibly hard for local sellers to compete on price.
We saw some figures on that cross-border e-commerce growth, didn't we?
We did. In 2023 alone, e-commerce coming from China into Korea jumped by 48%.
48%.
Yeah, reaching nearly 4.8 trillion won. that now makes up 60% of all of South Korea's direct overseas purchases online.
60% from China. Wow. So whether you're just buying stuff online or thinking of selling, you really feel that intense global competition.
For sure, it's reshaping the whole landscape.
So wrapping up, we've hit 3 distinct areas today. Potential shifts in global trade affecting autos.
The significant financial pressure cooker building in Korea's construction sector.
And the really tough survival odds for online retailers facing intense global competition.
Hopefully, pulling these threads together gives you a clearer picture of some key economic forces at play right now.